Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking to you about New York City affordable housing. And I know that a lot of other cities out there also have affordable housing programs, but I'm going to be talking specifically about New York City affordable housing just because that's the one that I've experienced in. And I'm going to be talking about how you can get affordable housing, and if you can stick to the end of this video, I can actually show you the process as well. It's definitely going to be a long process, but bear with me here. This may end up being two videos. So, okay, this is part one of the video for affordable housing. I'm going to be going over what is affordable housing, how can you get affordable housing, and then I'm going to have another video on pros and cons of getting affordable housing and how you can increase your chances of getting affordable housing based off of some tips that I have. First off is, what is affordable housing? Well, for the first thing is that I know that there's two types of affordable housing to my knowledge at this point of the time of this recording. There is low income government housing, which a lot of people are more familiar of in New York, where you have like these big brick buildings with government housing, and sometimes they have like a governor's name or like some kind of government building name on there. And it's really just a way for the government to subsidize housing for low income. This also means you have to certify your income every month, and you have to be within a low income bracket, your whole household. It can't be one person. For example, a 2-bedroom apartment in Lower East Side could only run for $1,000. Utilities are included, so gas, water, electricity, all of that is included. So all you really need to do is just certify your low income every month. This is also really cool for a lot of people that are low income, but it also means that you need to go through lottery, which is very difficult. There's also another way of affordable housing, which is the medium income affordable housing. And this is the one where new developers, landlords with new buildings, they go for a 421A tax abatement. What this means is that they put their building up for tax abatement, and the only way to do that for a lot of them is that you need to have at least 30% available for affordable housing. When it's available for affordable housing, it's rent stabilized, it's below market rate, and it's also typically a newer building too, so you get a really good perk for just living in a nice building. No real cost to you. The only difference is that you have a lot of paperwork and you have to apply ahead of time. So I'm going to be telling you in this video, how can you do that? So first off, how do you get affordable housing? The first thing you need to do is go to the link down below in the description. You need to apply for lotteries, so it's a good way to kind of search around, look at how many people you want in your household, your income, your household income, then looking at all of the properties. You're gonna see a lot of cool new buildings. So this is a cool perk too, because it's not necessarily gonna be a dingy building for a lower price. You're gonna get a nice, cool building with a lot of amenities typically, and you're going to be able to get in there for a lower market rate and also rent stabilized. So this also means that once selected, you need to provide documentation. First thing, we need to show who will be living with you. You're going to need your birth certificate and picture IDs. They're typically going to ask you for a photocopy, but during the interview they may ask for the actual item, and they're going to give it back to you, of course. But then the other thing is incomes of everyone who will live with you. Examples: pay stubs, federal or state income tax, federal state tax returns, proof of social security, veteran or public assistance benefit income. For most people, it's just going to be pay stubs, federal or state tax returns. And then after that, information about your current apartment. Examples include your current lease, receipts of rent, and recent gas or electric bills. So I had to provide all of that. Then after that, see the after you apply checklist if you need help getting copies of these documents. So it's actually pretty simple. For most people, it's gonna be very simple. It's usually gonna be a little bit more difficult if you're like self-employed, or maybe that you're not employed and you're going to be in a multi-person household, but you definitely should be able to get a lot of this information ready. And then when the time comes, you can prepare your pay stubs and then prepare your receipts for rent and then recent gas or electric bills. Those are gonna be more monthly, but you can definitely prepare for your federal or state tax returns and your letter of employment. So that's a lot of what you'll need to show. When I first did it, I applied back in like July of 2018, like 2 years ago basically. And then I've heard back from my current apartment, which is affordable housing as well, in December, in like November and December of 2019. So that took about like 3-4 months for me to hear back. When they asked me to provide all the documentation, I provided all my documentation. All the information, all the documentation you see in the list is what I had to provide. I had to email them, and eventually I had to print them all out and then also bring them in person for an interview, which is essentially just looking at it, at the documentation, seeing that you're not a criminal or anything. And then eventually, once you're done with the interview, they review the documentation and see if you're qualified. Once you qualify, they're going to be asking you to like, okay, now you can come in for an open house. And for me, I was busy for that weekend that they were gonna do open house. I was not even in New York at the time. So I had my boyfriend come in and also look at the apartment for me, did a little video interview for me. That way I was able to see if I wanted this apartment or whatnot. And then after that, once I said I was interested, they're going to also be doing a credit check on me. And then they did a credit check on me. And after that, in my current building, there's 10 units and 3 of them were set up for affordable housing. I chose 1. So for that apartment, I said this was my preference. And when I went in to sign my lease, I went in with my first month's rent and also my security deposit, which is basically 1 month of rent. And that's all I did. I just got the keys and I was good. So with this affordable housing process, I actually ended up moving in like late March. The lease really started in April 1st of 2019. So that really took me a huge process of like 8 months, just from the moment I applied to the moment I actually moved in. So for you, that could also be 8 months as well. So here we're on the New York City Housing Connect website, and we're going to see this first screen where you can get started or log in. And I just want to show you the process here, where first you have to complete your profile, which we're going to go through, and then we're going to show you how to apply for lotteries. This is where you get new developments that fit your household, and it does take about several months for applications to get processed. Only then once you get selected, they're going to confirm your eligibility. So this is where maybe if your income has changed by then, or maybe your household has changed, you may or may not be qualified anymore. So this is something that you want to provide your documents. I recommend you to have annual documents ready already, and then when it comes to the time of selection, all you have to do is pull your pay stubs, your bank statements, and all of that all in one place. So we're going to show you how to actually complete your profile and apply to lotteries. So once you're in, you want to go into My Household, and then you confirm your information. Then you start your household. So here I want to go in as myself, and then I can add another member, but for the sake of this, I guess I will. I could do spouse or domestic partner, and we'll do Addison Chen. And click next. Do any of these living situations currently apply to you? None of these apply to me. Do any of your household receive rental assistance with that one? Nope. And then now you click save. Once you're here, you're going to see that your profiles are incomplete. You go back in here and edit. Once you fill out your personal information, you're also going to have income requirements for your household. So this is just for my profile specifically. You're going to see tax returns, pay stubs, other records of different kinds of income you receive. Don't worry, you can save your progress and come back to any time. So here at all your sources of income, let's say for me, it's just going to be employment for now. And then I would write my employer. You're going to be also asked for the information on your W-2 forms, so it's going to be very easy for you to be able to qualify for that. Make sure you have this information handy. Once you're done with your income sources, click next. Start in saving assets. So this is where you put your bank account information. So now my profile is complete, and then you would also enter information for your other household members. Once you get started, you can look at this, and this is where you can look at all of the apartments out there available. You can see they're all really nice. They're like nice renovations and whatnot, and you're going to see all of the neighborhoods here too. So they're not necessarily going to tell you all of the areas. Sometimes they're going to be more specific, like Flatbush or Bushwick and Williamsburg and Gramercy and Murray Hill, but let's say we want to be in the one in Manhattan where 16 units available, and it's like near the 456. Lottery is closing in 13 days. So let's click and view details. You're gonna see it's a nice skyscraper, and you need to be eligible income of 66,823 to 147,360. This is not saying this is the income of one person, it's the income of the household. So that's something to think about, because if you don't have household of one, and then it could be on the lower end, which is typically how it is, and then household of 5, they're gonna require you towards the end of the income bracket. So you're gonna see that more in the information. So another thing that you wanna note is that they're going to give you more information here on what's included. So rent includes gas for cooking. Sometimes they're going to say that like rent is not including anything, or maybe it's just only including hot water. Tenants are responsible for electricity. So this is different than the low income housing. So you're going to see here amenities, like, whoa, you definitely would not have expected that from affordable housing. And it's also going to tell you that they get a tax exemption of 421A tax incentive program. That's how they're doing this. So here we're going to see the 28 photos, nice photos, show you a floor plan. This actually was not like this 2 years ago when I did it. I had to actually go on Street Easy to stock what they have, but you can see that they have the floor plans of every unit that they have available for this. So that's pretty nice. So now let's click apply now. But before that, let's look at all of the available units and income requirements. Like I mentioned before, even though you may fit in that income range, you have to make sure you fit in that household size. So if I was like $147,000, but that only works for 5 people, you need to be in a household size of 1 person. So if you don't fit in that, you're not qualified. You may want 2 people. It's only going to be a little bit more. So it's really of like 2 lower income people that come together. And then also you got 1 bedroom and then 2 bedrooms. So these are going to show you how competitive it is as well. 8 units, 6 units, 1 unit, 1 unit. And it'll also show you the rent. So if you look at this, you're going to know this is dirt cheap for Manhattan. Like 1 studio for $1949 in Gramercy, like what? That's absurd. And then 1 bedroom for $2,091, that is absurd. That's actually even cheaper than what I have right now. You're gonna also notice it's not gonna show you square footage, but you know what? 1 bedroom, I'll take it. So we click apply now. So that's all I have for what is affordable housing. How can you get affordable housing? Make sure to stick around and subscribe for a video on what are the pros and cons of affordable housing and how can you use my tips to be able to get affordable housing as much as you can. Keep in mind that this is all lottery, so if you're it's really first come first serve, and then after that you still need to qualify if you are up the lottery. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to be doing more videos on affordable housing, real estate. Make sure to check out my money playlist over here. I also go over more about how to save money in New York City and some tips that I have, and that's how I actually was able to pay off my $50,000 in student loans in my first 2 years here. Definitely check the videos over here because they are exactly how I was able to save money. The affordable housing is I got below market rate. When the other apartments in my building cost about $2,800 or $3,000, I was only paying $2,250, and it was also rent stabilized, so it didn't go up that much when I re-signed my lease. All right, thank you so much and see you guys next time. Bye.